Do you want to take boring popsicle sticks and turn it into wood that actually looks real? Today I'm going to show you how to paint wood that actually looks like wood, using just popsicle sticks, a utility knife, and a couple of paints. So let's fix boring wood for good. To start with some trim popsicle sticks, these are going to be the wood for your planks. First, use a hobby knife to carve lines across the surface, making sure that you're cutting away from your fingertips. This will really give it a nice wood grain texture. Now take your utility knife and cut at a slight angle along those carved lines. This will make little grooves and shadows that pop when we paint them. Once all those grooves are in there, we're going to take the utility knife and add some angled cuts into the popsicle sticks. This helps the wood look more worn and gives it a more natural weathered feel to it. Next, we're going to finish those up by just carving some nicks into the edges of the sticks. These will make the wood look old and worn, perfect for fantasy or medieval builds. This is the exact method that I used to turn this birdhouse into a medieval tower, and if you'd like to see how I did that, be sure to check the link below. Now once your wood pieces are in place on your build, it's time to paint them. We're going to start with a base coat of burnt umber and cover every part of the wood and then let it dry completely. I like to use a fairly heavy coat at this point just so I can really make sure that I've covered the wood completely and that it doesn't absorb too much and show that natural color below it. Now we're going to take our dry brush and some of the nutmeg brown and start dry brushing that by just wiping off as much of that paint as possible so we have just a little bit on the brush. And then to apply it, we're going to go against the grain here to really grab those edges and grooves and really pull out those highlights. This really adds a lot of nice contrast that you really need when you're working in a scale this size. And here we are once that is all dried completely. Now this is already a pretty compelling wood, but we can take that even further with a wash and some more highlights. So to make that wash, we're going to take just a little bit of water, as well as some of our black paint and some of our burnt umber. You're going to mix those together really well so you have a nice consistent dark brown color, which we will apply heavily to the entire project. Now if you need any of these art supplies you see in this video, you can check the links below where I have all of those products that I recommend listed there. Now when you apply this wash, make sure you apply it fairly heavily. I like to really load it up to fill in all those cracks and cuts into the wood, and that'll really help drive up the contrast by really darkening up all those deep spots. Now a very important part to doing this method is to let all these layers dry completely. This is where we're at once the wash is dried and it's already looking really good. But to drive that contrast even further, I'll take my nutmeg brown again and we'll do another round of dry brushing. Now a great method I really like is to really hit the ends of these boards with the highlights and dry brushing. This will really add nicely to the weathered look and the dark areas caused by the wash, which will leave you with a much more compelling wood grain texture. And then one more step that I like to do is add moss, but this will get you a nice compelling wood grain texture and really elevates those popsicle sticks that we started with. Subscribe for more.